KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk. Thompson and Espinosa show. Mark Thompson and Elizabeth Espinosa. Quickly, before we get to Charles Belk, I wanted to mention that the NFL now, apparently, they received, its law enforcement officials confirmed that they sent a video of that Ray Rice punching to the NFL 5 months before the Ray Rice thing came out. So we've been talking a lot about that story, and I just want to give you the latest. We'll give you more, and we'll talk about it more as we continue. But here's another incredible story right here locally that happened in Beverly Hills.
Yeah, dealing with police. Beverly Hills Police Department, of course, you may remember the story. They detained, put him in handcuffs, a Emmy Award-winning movie producer the weekend of the Emmys, Charles Belk, who, oh yeah, by the way, is also a Harvard graduate. Very accomplished man. Charles, thank you for joining us in studio.
Thank you so much for having me. Did want to create a couple of quick things. One, went to Harvard on a executive leadership program, so wasn't a degree program. And two, I'm not an Emmy Award. I will be. Thank you for talking that up for me.
Hey, listen, I'm just putting it out there. I'm visualizing for you.
I appreciate it. Absolutely.
I put it out in the universe for you.
Thank you very much.
But you went to Harvard. Listen, I haven't even gotten to Harvard. I only swing.
We don't have the grades to get a tour of Harvard, okay?
Exactly. We went by Harbor Community College in Torrance. But walk us through again, what happened that day?
Walking down the street, texting, coming from a restaurant, all of a sudden, I find myself in handcuffs on a curve for 45 minutes in the hot sun in my industry. It's one of my biggest weekend of my industry. Transported to the police station in Beverly Hills. I was fingerprinted, photographed. I was not read any rights.
Did they tell you what for?
They never told me what it was for. When I was out on the curb, they said a bank had been robbed, and I fit the description. And so, but they never told me what I was being booked for. I found out later that I had been held for a number of hours under $100,000 bail, a federal offense for armed bank robbery and accessory to armed bank robbery. This was after I was released.
Based on a description only. And you were dressed in, looks like a T-shirt and with a, I don't know, khakis or jeans or whatever you had on.
Yeah, I was tan khakis and a kind of button green T-shirt.
Held for 6 hours?
Yeah.
On the ground.
Now, what was the vibe there during that time? I mean, were they, hey, we're just trying to get to the bottom of this, or were they, hey, shut up, pal?
No. There wasn't much conversation at all, because I was sitting down and I literally thought that, this is all going to be over in 10 minutes. This is the Beverly Hills Police Department. You think of Beverly Hills cops and Eddie Murphy, and at the end of the day, the Beverly Hills Police Department do the right thing. Yeah. So I figured that was going to happen. So I'm just sitting there 10 minutes, only 10 more minutes. That's all it's going to take. Then 10 minutes went by and more 10 minutes, and before you know it, I'm getting arrested, and the booking officer looks at me. I say, I'm still in disbelief when I'm at the station. I'm like, this is a really bad nightmare. And she said, yeah, you have committed a serious crime. And I walked away thinking, wow, I've been, judged and convicted all in a matter of an hour.
Right. And you were just trying to go put money in your meter.
Going to put money in my meter so I could be a law-abiding citizen.
Well, that's what you get for being law-abiding. And I had read somewhere that when you were on the curb, at some point when you realized that they were not going to let you go and they were going to take you to the station, you screamed or yelled out something to your buddy, and that's kind of what helped you get out.
Well, so I was walking on myself, and I thought my buddy would not even know I was there. I saw him. He came across the street.
You're so lucky.
Very lucky. I could still be in jail today. But I turned around to him, and I said 3 things to him, believe it or not. Go put money in my meter.
I'm still worried about
That's
the meter.
That's how beaten down in Beverly Hills we are by the meter maids.
You know how much those tickets cost?
I mean, there you are in cuffs on the curb. Hey, put money in my meter, though, will you?
3 things. Go put money in my meter, please. Call Robin Harrison of the NAACP Hollywood Bureau and take a picture. He took the picture, and I think it is because of that picture is what has made this case, recognizable.
How do you feel today?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm 6'4", clearly bald, and a black male. And, I feel pretty strong about me and myself. And I think that, I was going to walk away with that. It was going to be an incident. We were going to move on. I vented the next day on social media, but it's still been affecting me. And that's the one thing about it. But more so than that, I have moments when I think back to the fact that I lived 51 years of my life, and everything I've done is try to stay on the right side of the law. And for them to take that away from me, I mean, if you're going to arrest me, let me be for a good cause, not just for walking down the street.
You feel violated.
Some act of civil
Absolutely
disobedience
violated.
you would have preferred be the thing that you get arrested for.
Yeah. I mean, I felt right now I kind of feel like, and I think I have had this feeling once before. It's when I came into my house in North Carolina and it had just been robbed. And you walk in and you see your stuff all over the place and stuff missing. You just feel so violated.
I know that on the air we had talked about the fact that they had that security video in the bank, so you could, match that up. That was the thing that we couldn't understand, how they waited so long to actually look and say, this isn't the guy we want.
Well, incredibly enough, not only did they have the video, which was less than 400 feet away, they also had me telling them what I do in this town. Here's my wallet, my business card. It says, producer in it, chief branding officer in it. My credit cards are all in, all my ID. Plus, my friend was saying, hey, we just came from the restaurant. It is right around the corner. It's less than 1,000 feet. Go talk to them. Here's the receipt. So they had a lot of other things that they could have easily used to, just
I love that. That's great. Charles is going to stay here because this is the kind of detail that we didn't have at the time.
Well, and you know what? Charles Belk does not subscribe to this race card conversation, but this kind of changed your perspective, having lived through something so awful. And we want to get into that and that mindset and where that is now. So thank you for staying here with us. Thompson and Espinosa Show, KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk into the newsroom with Chris Little.
Body cameras are headed to the Anaheim.
Listen all you want. We'll make more. KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk. Thompson and Espinosa Show. Elizabeth Espinosa, Mark Thompson. And with us in studio, Charles Belk, who you may recall is a Emmy soon to be. You'll soon win an Emmy. He's a movie producer in Los Angeles. And on August 22nd, remember, that was the weekend of the Emmys and all the pre-Emmy parties. He is in Beverly Hills, finished up eating somewhere, going to his car to pay the meter, and he's arrested. And he's handcuffed, and he's booked, and they take a picture of him, and they said that he had just robbed a bank. But guess what? He didn't. So he's here to tell us the full story with details.
Yeah, it was interesting because they detained him for 6 hours. And, Charles, you took us through, I thought, the last few details, which were really quite interesting. You were just a few hundred feet from this restaurant where you'd just eaten with your buddy, and you even said to the cop, you can go right back, go in there. We have the receipt from the restaurant and everything, or just there. In other words, you were accounting for your whereabouts right away. And yet all that information was ignored. What do you think? What was the reaction now in the aftermath? Because so much has been made of this. What's your communication with the Beverly Hills Police Department been, and what actions are you going to take?
Well, so when they released me, the detective and the two FBI agents came in and gave me a detention certificate, which they looked me in the face and pointed out to me that you only been detained. You have not been arrested. And I thought, well, I've been fingerprinted and photographed, but I just want to get out of here. And about a week and a half later, someone pointed out to me, we was out at the site, and they pulled up the fact that there was an arrest record for me on the L.A. sheriff site. And that just drove me crazy. And so I started a campaign on social media asking folks to email, if they thought that was fair or not fair, email the captain of police at Beverly Hills and the chief of police. And so I sat down with them, and they gave me a petition, which is in California, a petition to seal and destroy an arrest record for adults. And they walked that through the process, and 2 days later, it was no longer on the site.
Let me ask you this. We were saying before the break that you're a movie producer. You're in town for that. You don't subscribe to, a lot. There are certain people who feel like everything is because I'm driving while black or I'm walking while black. But in this instance, you can't deny that there was racial profiling. And to a certain degree, you were treated differently. Why at some point when you're this 6'4" cooperative human being that's standing or sitting on the curb for hours and you're not fighting them, you're like actually perplexed, like, why am I here? How does that change your, the way you walk around now, and what does that do to you?
Absolutely. At the beginning, I was, I understood when they told me I matched the description. They didn't tell me what description I matched, but I said, these guys have a job to do. Obviously, a crime's been committed, and they're trying to find the right person. So I'm going to sit here. I'm going to cooperate. 10 minutes, they will have this worked out. At the end of the night, I concluded that because of the mere fact that other conversations and other evidence, if you will, was not taken into consideration. And given the way I was kind of treated during that process, it just made me question. And given the fact that the only other folks that I saw in jail as prisoners were all black. It was, now granted, it's a nice police station. There was only 4, but they were having to all be black. But I just started.
They were
thinking,
just extras, Charles. We needed to. They probably needed to fill
exactly.
it out. Yeah, for pictures. You
but
understand.
I was actually feeling that something has gone wrong, and was I treated a certain way because I was discounted in some way, shape, or form? Mm-hmm. Was my rights taken away from me because they didn't think it would matter? They didn't think I was going to say anything about it.
Now, what's happened? What have your interactions been with him since? So it's been a while.
Right. So my the thing is, I was glad to get the it's only been 2.5 weeks, and a lot really has happened in 2.5 weeks. I know folks that still be in jail in 2.5 weeks, and we've had a meeting with them. They are, by their press releases that they put out, they definitely recognize that there was something wrong with the handling of my situation. They have issued an internal review of their whole process, and my goal is hoping that there's going to be some changes coming from that. And from talking with the chief of police, I really believe there will be changes. But also, the big deal for me now is the mere fact that although it's been kind of expunged, if you will, off my record, apparently it still sits in some federal database. And wow. I was lucky. I was lucky from the standpoint that things just kind of aligned for me. There are thousands of folks, as I'm finding out on Facebook, that it has happened to. So what we now have done is started a petition at change.org that everybody, please go to it and sign it, because it can affect anyone, not just black, not just white, not just males, not just females, and it has affected a lot of folks. If you are stopped and arrested or booked in any sense, even if you are let go within 2 hours, once it hits their system, there is an arrest record out there for you. It does not get automatically expunged or deleted. And you have to pay up to like $5,000 and probably like 6 months to get this thing erased. And having it on there could affect you getting a job in the future. Right. It could affect you getting a loan. It could affect a lot of things. It's serious business.
It is serious business, because just because someone hits the button send and it's their mistake, why should you pay for their mistake?
Exactly. And
you're right. It will affect your chances of employment. I had a funny situation, not funny, but I had a similar situation to the degree that I was on my way to Pakistan, and I was getting on the plane. But, the area right before the jetway, they had some ICE agents, and they stopped me. And the guy went into where are you going? I said, Pakistan. Oh, I thought for sure he's going to give me the body cavity now. And then the other agent came up, and at the time I was a reporter on Fox 11, and she's like, oh, my God, I watch you every morning. And I thought, thank you, Lord. I mean, thankfully, this woman recognized me, but you find yourself in instances where you don't know if you will be mistaken, and then this will cost you money, grief. And in your case, I mean, do you feel now like you're walking while black? Do you feel like, are you fearful of police?
People have asked me that question. I've always been fearful of police. People have asked me that question, and my only thing I can say is I was walking, and I'm black. And that is my answer to that question.
You're right.
And you just think, the similest thing happened to me overseas, where I was going to a foreign country, and I came from Greece and Istanbul, and they pulled me over and just ransacked my stuff in the airport. I can't remember the name of the country, but no one spoke English. And so they held me back there for 45 minutes. And at the end of the day, I was scared, but I expected something like that there. It was. I didn't.
Good
I don't.
Point.
I don't
expect it there.
I expected it there. I do not expect it here.
Charles Belk, the movie producer who was held for 6 hours as a suspected bank robber in Beverly Hills, we'll continue with Charles, and I want to get to the question. This is America. People do it who have been through an ordeal like this. Will Charles sue the Beverly Hills Police Department? We'll get into that next.
Thompson and Espinosa show, KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk. Chris Little in the newsroom.
Police say a man from South Carolina accused of murdering his 5 kids.
KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk. Thompson and Espinosa, Mark Thompson and Elizabeth Espinosa.
We have Charles Belk with us in studio, and you may recall that, what was it, 2.5 weeks ago, you said?
Yep, 2.5 weeks ago.
That's really not a long time.
No.
Suspected bank robber because he was in Beverly Hills, apparently at the wrong time. They were looking for this suspected bank robber, and you just happen to be walking to your car to pay the meter, and bam, you get thrown into handcuffs, fingerprinted, and you're in jail. So we were talking about the $1 million question now that in this country, of course, when something goes wrong, so horribly wrong like this, will you sue?
Everybody, it's a great question. And everybody on Facebook is saying you should sue, you should sue, you should sue. At the end of the day, I can't get those 6 hours back. And people say you should hit them where it hurts in their money. But people with money aren't really affected when you hit them with money. The thing that makes will be effective if the Beverly Hills Police Department make changes to their process and procedures so that this won't happen again. The thing that will be effective if people go out and sign the petition and you have local elected officials causing legislative change so that things that happen to me where my record is on file will automatically not happen to someone else.
So I understand that that's important to you and that you are trying to get those changes to the department. If those changes aren't really progressing at a pace that you're happy with, do you think you might actually then take action in a lawsuit?
Yeah, I think that at some point somebody has to be held accountable. So we are we're in conversations with the city, and we hopefully will resolve things before having to actually go to suit. But at the end of the day, there needs to be some resolution regardless of how we get that.
It's likely that they're going to cut you a check. That's just plain and simple the fact. I mean, I think that's going to happen. I would.
But it sounds like to me like your bigger intent here is to create change. So you've got the petition, which I understand, and it makes sense. But let me ask you this, because no one's colorblind. Let's be real. We do make decisions and we look at people of color and go, oh, you have your own little bias. You have your own little thought, what you think somebody of that ethnic background will be like, right?
Correct.
You hear it in jokes, in stand-up comedy.
Absolutely.
So there's subliminal, so can I say that wrong? Subliminal racism. Do you think that's what happened here?
I've read the reports where each of us will, make decisions about a person based on something. And race is one of those things that we based on. I think we would be naive to sit here and think that 100% of that police department or any police department, whether it's an all-black police department or an all-white police department, don't have some sort of subliminal racist biasness inside of them.
There's an implicit bias.
Exactly. Yes, I believe that.
When did the change.org petition go up?
It is up. It went up about a day and a half ago.
People can find it at change.org. We've got a link to it on our website, KFIAM640.com, keyword Thompson and Espinosa. But if they go to change.org, they can also find it. What's the search?
It is. You can look under Charles Belk, or you can look under the easy way to get to it is tinyurl.com/
That's the easy way to get to it?
You are hilarious. I will tweet it. I'm going to tweet it out.
Yeah, there's a link from our website.
Sorry.
There's a link from our website.
But
That's
please,
the easy way.
I can't employ folks to notes to please go and sign a petition.
Mo says on change.org, if you just put Charles Belk, you're good.
Oh, cool.
It pops up. That's great. So you talked about training, and that may be the answer. But how do you really eliminate this implicit bias? I don't care how many hours you give certain law enforcement officers. Will that really change?
You know what the answer is? We're not going to change it today. We can change it in the future. Today is today. And that's why I Skyped into an ethics class at North Carolina Central University in Durham, North Carolina, and talked to those students, because those are the future policy setters, law makers, law protectors. Those are the people that if you get it to them there now, that there's hope for the future.
Because I was saying, here you have a well-educated movie producer that is stopped by a police department. What happens to the guy, Joe, down the street that's from the hood, that doesn't know that he should not try to defend his case right then and there? Just stay quiet.
Yeah, you got to stay calm, because at the end of the day, your main goal is to get home. You can do everything once you get home. You can't do much of anything if you get, belligerent out there and you're slammed into the police car or you're shot, right, and killed. You definitely can't do anything at that point. Stay calm, get home, and then fight the battle.
When you're in handcuffs, you can't prove your case.
When you're in handcuffs, trust me, you can't do much of anything.
Now, you're speaking and getting Skyped into all these conferences. Was this who you were before this thing happened, or now are you this, like, NAACP activist? I know you're going to NAACP conferences coming up soon.
Listen, I am not, I'm a behind-the-scenes kind of a guy. And this says, and I just posted this morning on Facebook that I don't know where this road is going to take me. This is an unfortunate incident that has put me on a whole different path. But I'm an all-or-nothing type guy. Once you engage me, I'm engaged. So I'm going to testify this Friday at the California NAACP hearings on solutions to racial profiling and police brutality. That's Friday morning at California African American Museum. I'm also traveling to the Congressional Black Caucus in 2 weeks in D.C. Planning on meeting with my senator back there, as well as my senators, as well as my congressperson. Hopefully I can get on the U.S. Attorney General's calendar, or at least some staffer.
But again, this is a whole kind of new itinerary for you.
New itinerary. I'm letting it do, it's taking me down. It's taken my life for the last 2.5 weeks, and I've decided to roll with it for now because I'm just trying to give a voice to the voiceless. And I have a forum. And it would be un-American of me not to use it.
You said somebody had sent you a text that, as a believer, God's using you.
Absolutely. Actually, it was a song from Yolanda Adams that the battle is not yours, it's the Lord. And I truly believe that that's my situation right now.
Thank you, Charles.
Great to have you in the mix with us, Charles Belk. We wish you luck, and
I will tweet your petition.
Thank you.
Well, that should put it over the top because Elizabeth is.
I hope so.
She's the queen of the castle. So,
but I love that you're looking for a solution, right?
That's terrific. I mean, really great to meet you, and you're such a cool guy. I'm sure good things are going to happen. So, thanks for joining us today, and thanks again to Charles Belk.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Have a great day. KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk.
You thought that was stimulating. Wait till you hear this. KFI.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
News on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks.